But coming up next, our feature bout, Conan Silveira and Dan Severn. The heavyweight super bout title is on the line. Well, there's not much more you can say. You just look at that. Conan and Severn. What more do you need to say?
I think the saying is going to be done in the ring. The talking is going to be done in the ring here.
Two big men, Dan Severn, whose resume speaks for itself, against Conan Silveira. Our heavyweight super bout is coming up as the fighters get ready to make their way to the ring. And
here
there
comes
you see
Dan the Beast Severn.
the man they call the Beast. Truly, I would say, a legend in this sport.
One of the founding fathers of mixed martial arts competitions, and that he has been doing this sport domestically in the United States since 1994. Won the UFC on several occasions. He's a world-class wrestler, and just a heck of a nice guy.
Dan Severn has done it all. His strengths, well, pretty simple, I would say. Ground and pound, that about sums it up, doesn't it?
He's got the grappling technique. He's a big, big boy. And when he gets you to the ground with his grappling technique, he's going to pound on you for a little while.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights. Dan Severn, of course, former NCAA wrestling runner-up during his collegiate career. UFC, professional wrestling. He's done it all.
He really has. He's just a talented, talented athlete. A guy with a lot of size and power and heart. And I look for him to really show up tonight.
Well, Dan Severn, again, has been around for a long time, and he talks about how the game has changed since he first started.
It's a chess match out there because you are going to have people that are strong-suited. They'll be the strong-suited in the stand-up arts. They'll be strong-suited in the ground arts. You don't see too many people that are just so all overall that they'll take you in any different direction, but it is moving more and more into that direction, though.
Well, the game has changed, and tonight his opponent, one of the up-and-comers, talk about Dan Severn being a legend. Really, this guy, you just mentioned one word, Conan.
He's a tough, tough individual. Conan Silveira was at the top of the heavyweight world 4 to 5 years ago. He's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Carlson Gracie. He's just a big, big guy. 6'2", 241, a 32-2 record. He brings as much experience to this ring as does Dan Severn. He suffered a devastating loss to Maurice Smith by a head kick, which was a big turn in the mixed martial arts industry. And after that, lost to a very accomplished and smaller Sakuraba in Japan, and sort of fell off the face of the earth. I asked Conan a little bit about it, and he said, you know, it was time to deflate my head and go back to the basics, and his basics are submissions. He's a jiu-jitsu practitioner. He's excellent at submissions. He's got great conditioning, and I tell you, this guy knows how to use a cage. He really does.
Conan Silveira, well, he is the champ.
Understanding Marcus Conan Silveira is not easy. He is Conan the Barbarian. Superstar of the violent world of no-holds-barred fighting world. His skill and ruthlessness in the ring and cage have made him a force in world extreme fighting, Battle Cage, and the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
You gotta love what you do. And saying like that seems like there was anything in life. If you commit yourself to do something, doesn't matter how hard or how far you gotta go, you do it. And as being a fighter and a no-holds-barred, you know, it of course takes much more than the average, than the regular, you know, person. I know that. It takes a lot from you, you know, your training, your habits to eat, your lifestyle. But it's like I say, if you love, you do it.
Well, there he is, Conan and Dan Severn. There's the tail of the tape, and a couple veterans. They've been around for a while, but very evenly matched. Severn, a little bit of a weight advantage, and let's get this thing going. Go to the ring right now. TJ with the introductions.
Evansville, Indiana. WEF 9 World Class, this is the main event. The fighter on my right in the black trunks, perhaps the most recognizable name in mixed martial arts. 6 foot 2 inches tall, weighing at 266 pounds. Lists his fighting style as wrestling. He has over 4,000 amateur and professional matches in his career. Owner of 95 local, national, and international records in wrestling. He was a 1988 Olympic alternate, 3-time Ultimate Fighting Champion from Coldwater, Michigan, Dan the Beast Silveira. And ladies and gentlemen, the fighter to my left in the black trunks, trimmed in white. 6 foot 2 inches tall, weighing at 241 pounds. His fighting style is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. 32 big wins to his record. He is the current WEF Super Fight Super Heavyweight Champion. Please welcome Conan Silveira. Scheduled for 3 8-minute rounds.
Well, there you go, Conan and the Beast.
I tell you, I'm looking forward to this matchup. What a main event. Two crafty, experienced fighters in the ring, getting ready to get this underway, and Kip Kohler says, let's get it on.
As they say, world class. Here we go, our featured bout of the evening. And they're standing up early on. Severn, the Beast, grounded pound. And Conan on your left.
I think Conan's going to look to keep this up top. I'd look for Severn to try to set up a shot here early. Conan's doing a nice job of cutting the cage off on Severn here.
Again, the two big men, 8-minute rounds. Could end up being a major test of endurance like we have not seen yet tonight.
There's the first shot attempt by Severn. Conan doing a nice job. I tell you, he could have the starts of a guillotine here. He's a very, very strong practitioner. And I tell you,
does he have more than a start to it?
I tell you, he's working for this. He really needs to get his hips under, and he's got to secure that arm under there a little more. Look for Severn to try the takedown here.
How was that for an escape?
Nice takedown attempt by Severn, but I tell you, Conan is not a bad wrestler in his own rights. Kind of interesting as a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner that he, in fact, wears wrestling shoes.
Severn now goes for the lock.
Severn has the makings of a guillotine there, but he's going to have to secure a lot more than that. And Conan able to control the arm and come out. Look for Conan to punch on the break here if he pushes off. Severn needs to pressure him against the cage.
The break, and Severn able to get away before Conan can throw a big punch, and there goes Severn again.
I tell you, he's got this locked in. This is tight. This is real tight.
Watch for the tap now, and Severn trying to fight out of it.
Nice job by Severn.
Dan Severn.
Look for Conan to reestablish the guard here. He's going to block the hips of Severn, try to keep those knees from coming up on his head, and try to reestablish the guard.
Big knee from Severn.
Severn looking for a key lock on the far arm there.
Going to bring it back right now is Severn. Well, already twice in this matchup, Severn looked to be maybe in some trouble with a guillotine, and both times able to get out. There's that knee. set up.
Severn has to watch the head here, that he doesn't get kneed, and I think Conan's going to go back and try to put him in the guard, which is his staple. He typically will go right back to the guard here, but I think he feels very comfortable in the fact that Dan's not going to submit him on the ground, so I think he's looking for a little more of the opportunity to strike here.
Conan's victory over Maurice Smith, who came back a smother choke, if I'm not mistaken. And
that's correct.
Impressive victory to come back after getting smoked by Maurice Smith with that one, a big kick. But there you see the beast, Dan Severn, on top.
Be interesting to see how this weight difference plays in. It's about a 25-pound weight difference between Severn and Conan.
A couple big forearms there.
Dan working a little pressure here, try to punch to the face of Conan. Nice elbow. Conan's a very, very patient fighter. He's going to be very patient from here. He's not going to take a lot of risks. Going to try to minimize Severn's offense.
Oh, big forearm or elbow there from Severn.
I think that those are racking up a little damage there.
Is that it?
Is that it?
It's over. Conan is done. And the beast, Dan Severn, with the victory and an early one at that.
Wow, I tell you.
Medical staff rushing in.
I tell you, those elbows to the head may have been what did it.
He's out cold, it looks like. And Dan the Beast Severn is some kind of happy right now.
I tell you, I'd have to call that a little bit of an upset. Certainly Severn is accomplished and a great fighter, but a little bit of an upset there. Conan appeared a little flat tonight.
Well, he was flat on his back, taking some major elbows and forearms, and he is, it appeared at least, to be out cold. When Kip Kohler stepped in and said, that's enough, we were looking maybe for a tap. There was no tap. He was out.
I believe so.
So Dan the Beast Severn, a huge victory in World Extreme Fighting. 9 world class, well, on American soil. The man from America came up with a big win.
I tell you, you know, when you've got 2 freight trains like this out there, you're looking for a collision, and it happened. I'm very, very impressed with Dan's tenacity, and I tell you, he brought it right to Conan.
Well, Dan the Beast Severn, 40+ years old, doesn't look like he's anywhere near done yet.
Talked to him at the hotel at length, and his comment was that he felt like he had a few more years in him, and unless anybody was going to take his Walker away from him, he was staying around. He's quite a character.
I don't think anybody wants to mention Walker in front of Dan Severn. In fact, there you see Conan. Here's what happened at the end.
That's a nice knee to the head.
There was an elbow, and Conan in trouble here.
Nice series of elbows here by Severn to the head of
that was it right
Conan.
There. That might have been it.
I think that knee followed by the elbows really did some damage.
Let's go to TJ for tonight's announcement as Dan the Beast Severn comes up with the victory in an improbable fashion early on against Conan Silveira.
The winner by head and arm submission, Dan the Beast Severn. Awarding the belt will be World Extreme Fighting President Jamie Levine. Also, Tap Out Clothing will be awarding a special monolith monument to a monumental achievement. Dan the Beast Severn, ladies and gentlemen. Big round of applause.
Well, Dan the Beast with the belt, the title. He's held many over the years. You mentioned it was a little bit of an upset. A lot of folks talking about Conan in this one, but Dan the Beast cranked it up a notch.
I hesitate to call it an upset. It's certainly a surprise as quick as it went. You know, both these guys are very, very accomplished. It just looked for it to be more of a tactical, long-term war. Dan did a really nice job of bringing the knees up, putting the strikes in place where he could. And I tell you, he fought a great fight. You have to give it to him. And Dan, how he sort of faded out of mass popularity in the United States as far as participating in the really big events, he stayed very, very active. And like again, as I said, I'd hesitate to call it a disappointment, but certainly a surprise.
Well, and I'll tell you what, as we talk about all the newcomers, people coming in, you know, Mark Kerr's announcement tonight, and Dan Severn's still a player in this game as well, and Michael Landsberg is down with Dan Severn right now. Michael?
The call of the guys was basically, this guy is not done yet, are you?
Well, let's put it this way. 42, and I think you people know I'm still going strong!
Pretty hard to follow that up with a question. Take me through the final moments. First of all, you landed some pretty clean elbows that weren't devastating, but they took their toll, didn't they?
Well, to take it first of all, he had me in 2 guillotine chokes and almost into the match prematurely. I knew he wanted to keep this more of a stand-up game, and I knew I had to get him to my strength, and that is down on the ground there. So going in like that, he was sprawling well, caught my head twice. I mean, I saw stars, I saw blackness coming. It's like, come on, one more time. Get a shot. Head came out. He was unable to follow up right away. I just a couple fortunate things happened for me to her. I ended up on top. And if you let me in that crossbody position, I'm going to rule the world then, baby.
Well, he rules the WEF now. Congratulations. You've had a lot of huge victories in your career. This one as big as any of them. Dan Severn.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. It's the Beast. Let's go.
Well, the Beast is still ruling NHB. Dan the Beast Severn with the victory over Conan, and what a night of fighting we had here in Evansville, Indiana, as Dan the Beast Severn still with that title and a big smile on his face, and rightfully so, Wade Rome, rightfully so.
I tell you, you got to love his persona. He's just, he's got a great persona. He's